Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game. So, they're got a fun and exciting video for you guys today because I am testing the most recent release as far as testing is concerned of The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess Courage Reborn. And honestly, the last time I took a look at this, I said it was doing an outstanding job of being an amazing PC port. And now that there is a new internal testing build, I will say it's getting even better because there's not only one but two different Twilight Princess PC ports coming based upon the GameCube decompilation, and we're all going to be the luckier for having actually had the experience of playing this on PC in the future. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, got a Patreon link down below as well. And when I say this new test version of Twilight Princess Courage Reborn is so much better than the previous one that was already amazing, I 100% mean it. This is absolutely going to blow your mind when it is out and fully finished, and hopefully that will come soon. And it's one of those things I absolutely love that Linefadomra, one of the lead developers on this project, has these versions for content creators to test out and kind of talk about what's going on underneath the hood. It really shows where things are going, and I can kind of bring you along for the ride of the overall development process. So hopefully soon there will be a build you can play, but I want to be very upfront about this. This isn't something that you're going to find a download link and be able to play today because it isn't done. You can go through a lot of dungeons, a lot of them have all their progression built in, but it still isn't 100% ready for prime time. And just so you know, last video I used the Henrico 4K textures for Twilight Princess. This time around I'm using stock textures, and that is just so you can see how the graphics are drawing without any enhancements on the Courage Reborn PC port as it currently stands. And honestly, this thing looks absolutely flawless. The only visual glitch I had the entire time is Link's model will double up when he has water either in front of him or he is in water. But it is a known thing and the developers are working to fix that, so hopefully by the next time we have another playable version to kind of test and report bugs on, that will be 100% buttoned up. But the nice thing in this most current build is it has full support for 16:9 widescreen. You can basically set it to any sort of resolution you want. It also has uncapped frame rates. Now that is not 100% buttoned up yet. I will show you an example of it in just a moment, but you kind of have to fight with NVIDIA Control Panel to try to actually get the game to lock at that frame rate, because if you go to unlimited frame rate or 60 frames per second, it does sometimes want to actually run the game faster, but that's definitely in still development, and I'm sure by the time this thing comes out, it'll be fully buttoned up. It's one of those things though, I've never actually minded Twilight Princess being at 30 frames per second, but I am sure at 60 frames or even better, it'll be that much better of an actual experience. And honestly, just going through and replaying Twilight Princess for this test footage, I was reminded again of just how incredibly weird and strange this game truly is. I'm not sure what the developers and artists at Nintendo were thinking back in the day. I love that they did this, but it is one of the weirdest Legend of Zelda games ever made, in my opinion at least. Now going into Faron Woods here, you'll see that this fog effect absolutely looks near to perfect. The textures look great in a higher internal rendering resolution, but it is still the overall vibe of Twilight Princess. And again, this thing can support the 4K texture pack as I showed you in the previous video. It's just one of those things. I like to kind of go back and forth to show you how things are working. For me personally, when this is 100% fully out, I will definitely use that 4K texture pack for my review, but I will show some of the original textures as well, because it's one of those things. You have to see how the game is rendering in the PC port with all its original assets to really 100% speak to how good it's doing. And again, if I just took a screenshot of this right now and said to you guys it was 100% perfectly done, you would believe it, because there really isn't anything in this image right now that makes it look like it's anything other than a finished PC port. And I love how quickly this is developing. I mean, the Twilight Princess 100% decomp status video was only maybe like 3 or 4 months or so ago by memory. And it's one of those things, suddenly you have not one but 2 PC ports that are in development. And I will go over some of the new features in this one as well, but a lot of things have been done under the hood to make the experience more stable, to make all of the progression work, and just basically allow you to go through the majority of Twilight Princess as a PC version. Let's go into the first soundtrack sample in just a moment, because the music and audio have definitely improved in this build as well, and I'll be right back with a lot more Twilight Princess news. In my non-expert, non-audiophile opinion, that sounds 100% buttoned up. Now moving over really quickly to Linefadomra's trailer that they put out yesterday before this actual testing build went live for some testers, you'll see here that there are some new features in this build, including the unlocked frame rate. Now again, that is still in beta testing. It is not stable yet, but that's one of the things that you have to remember. These things take time. It's also getting a mobile port as well as a Switch version as well for the OG Switch, so you're going to be able to play an even better version of Twilight Princess on Nintendo hardware than Nintendo ever actually released, and that is always definitely impressive. There's going to be full mod support. We've already showed some of those. You're going to be able to change up models and everything else, and of course you're going to get that 4K texture pack if you so choose. But leave me a comment down below and you tell me, do you like the texture pack or do you like the original textures? It's one of those things, it definitely changes up the vibe, I think for the better, but I totally understand some people want that original kind of thing going on. Also, mouse and gyro aim are going to be in the build as well, and that's definitely something that people were very curious about because that makes a huge difference, and you'll see you're even going to get some options within the game in and of itself. But right now, a lot of things are changed via text editing and INI file because again, it is still in active development, but so far you can definitely tell when this thing comes out, it's going to be a straight up 10 out of 10 in my opinion. And I love that the community does stuff like this. Obviously, the Zelda community and the Twilight Princess community love this game, but even still, this is probably taking hundreds upon hundreds of hours, probably getting close to 1,000 hours by the time a development like this is done. And I will leave a link in the description below to the Courage Reborn Discord server. You can pop over there, see some of the current progress and chat with people. Just remember, like I always say, if I send you, make sure you're polite. Don't ask for any builds. It's just one of those things until it's ready for prime time. It's just kind of an internal test thing. As we move over to the Twilight realm here, absolutely, again, I love the look of this game. It has so much style and so much flair, and definitely was a darker tone to Legend of Zelda, and I think that absolutely works in its advantage, because once you go from something like Ocarina of Time and even Majora's Mask being on N64, it was fun that they kind of changed up the overall graphical stylings. And in wolf form here with the combat, again, everything is responsive, everything is fluid, there's no latency in the controls. This is definitely going to be the best way you've ever played Twilight Princess when you get a chance to play it. And that definitely is exciting because it's not just going to be a PC port with all of the modability in there. You know full well people are going to make new experiences. You're going to have randomizers and everything else. This is just going to end up being a platform for people to make Twilight Princess whatever they want to make it. And that is absolutely something that I am looking forward to, because basically every single Zelda game gets a ton of ROM hacks, even though this wouldn't technically be a ROM hack, it would be a mod, and tons of new fun creative things to play around with in the world of the game that you're modding. And I'm sure Twilight Princess will definitely have all of the same things, if not more in the future. And as far as the performance on this build is concerned, like I said, I'm using 30 frame per second mode here for most of the footage. Everything was stable. I only crashed the build once. As I come up here into actually right outside of the castle, the game ends up freezing on me just momentarily. But it's one of those things, again, it's not done, so we don't expect perfection. Let's go into the second soundtrack sample, because again, the audio in this build, 10 out of 10, and I'll be right back with a lot more. So I'm sure you noticed in that clip there, when Link is in water or when water is in front of him, even if he's on land, his model will actually double up, and that is a known issue and should be fixed by the next build. But it's one of those things, there's so many different calls to the GPU hardware and so many different drawing techniques compared to what the GameCube would do. Of course, you have to transpose all of those over into modern environments. So it's one of those things. I'm sure it'll be patched up next round, and you'll see it here again very briefly. When Link actually is over top the water, even if he isn't in it, you're going to see his model suddenly just basically duplicate. Right there it happens when water is in the background. It's a very interesting visual glitch, but it also shows just how these things were done, kind of basically making that wavy watering image. That is a trick that Nintendo would do in the hardware back on the GameCube, and that's just something that needs to again be transposed to modern hardware. But some of the things in Twilight Princess, absolutely just 10 out of 10 creepy. This carnival dude here, I don't know what's going on with him, but he definitely looks like he is kidnapping some children in the background. All jokes aside, there's just something about Twilight Princess that always had a very strange vibe going on to it, but in a very fun and unique way. And again, I kind of like the textures here as stock, but next time I do a preview on this one, I will go back to the 4K texture mod, but just be aware because I'm sure people skip around. Yes, it is supported if you missed my last video, and yes, it's 100% worth playing around with when this thing comes out. But this is definitely shaping up to be an incredible port. If you're wondering why I haven't covered Dusk yet, I did a video on that, but because there isn't a build to test from, even for people talking about it in video form, it's just one of those things I always like to talk about the experiences I'm having versus just capturing footage from a trailer and talking about it at least after the first video. So hopefully soon the Dusk development team kind of opens up access to that build, because I've seen a few streamers talk about it, but other than that, not really much out there. But 2026 is going to be an absolutely epic year for Twilight Princess fans, because you're getting not one but two different ports in development. And yes, I will compare the feature set when they're both out, but I don't really review fan developments against each other, because I am here to advocate for each of these projects, talk about how amazing they are. And let's be entirely honest, when you ask me which one you should play, I'm just going to tell you, play Twilight Princess twice, one on each port, then you're going to go and do it anyway and be absolutely happy to be able to do this in 2026, because Twilight Princess is an amazing game, and having it on PC with a ton of different quality of life improvements, 4K textures, unlock frame rates, and a ton of extra stuff, it's just going to be one of the best things that happens. And honestly, even though the port for Nintendo is a decent time, this is still going to be, in the end, the best way to play Twilight Princess. Sure that if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. The Discord link to the Courage Reborn servers down there as well. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.